Okay, we have one last section of the home page to assemble as far as all of our different sections, and that is the little recall notice that we're going to stick right in the lower middle of the page.
Right here.
Now, this is something we've kind of worked in for fun. Typically, a logging company isn't going to have a recall notice. It's just here kind of to be funny and to show you one more section to throw in. So, Rob, go ahead and get started.
Okay, we have our box, which we put in earlier. And this is the area we're going to be filling. And once again, we have that 1 pixel in 2 places.
Yeah,
Gosh,
wow.
This is a tragedy.
Yeah, well, don't get all too bent out of shape. It's a pretty easy fix, man.
Okay.
It's going to be okay.
Okay.
I'm here for you.
All right.
We're going to make it through this.
Okay. Just keep
listen,
talking.
Yeah, just listen to the sound of my voice. Breathe. That's good.
Okay, I'm going to hit delete now.
Okay.
All right. Oh, no.
Wow. Oh, no. It's time for panic attack. Here we go.
Okay, I have
Make
to select
sure you have the
first.
proper layer selected, and then
right.
hit the old delete
Then hit
key.
delete key.
Okay, we're halfway there, man.
That's great. Okay, well,
We're on the home stretch.
we can do this. I can do this.
Just keep telling yourself that, man. You can do this.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay,
Almost
I'm going to
there.
select that color. Flip to the back. Control delete.
Look at you go.
Okay, there we have
Now you can breathe easy,
a nice
knowing
solid
that
area.
everything lines up pixel to pixel.
Right, no pixels are amiss. So here we are. We're going to start with a new folder called Recall. Drop our little square in there.
Okay.
And we did have a picture that we were looking at, thinking about recalls.
And I'll bet some of you can even guess what it was because you've seen it already.
That's right.
That's right. We're going to
Rain
stick these
logs.
flames in there.
Because they can explode.
Yeah, as far as recalls are concerned, if you're recalling logs, right there's a good reason.
Usually people...
because they tend to suddenly burst into flames.
That's right.
Actually, the copy on that part's kind of funny if you read it.
So I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit smaller.
Yeah, it's a little large. So
And
once again with the Control T-ing.
Control T, and I'm going to zoom in here a little bit more. See what's going on. And I'm going to make it just a little bit too big on purpose. I'm going to cover this area. We're going to use our newfound layer
Mask?
Layer mask, yes.
Yeah.
Control
click on the recall layer.
Yep. And then with the log layer selected, or highlighted rather,
Right.
click on the add layer mask.
Blam! And look at that. It just fits wonderfully.
Fits perfectly. Pixel perfect. So it's going to say something simple. We're going to keep this really simple. It doesn't have to be too fancy. I'm going to use the font Arial.
Typically something like a recall notice would be something that's only temporarily on the page anyway.
Right. And it's
Well,
usually
you'd hope anyway.
Yeah, one
Here's
would
this
hope.
week's recall notice.
Right. So I'm going to just say recall notice.
Okay.
And I'm not going to use Arial Black. I'm going to use Arial. But I'm going to make it bold. And the reason is not everyone has Arial Black on their computer, but everyone has Arial.
All right.
So I'm going to make it bold. And then I'm going to make it bigger. Using our Command T. Filling up this Control T.
Control. It's not Command. How hard is that to remember, man?
Let's see, I've been using Max for 10 years.
Oh, well, okay. I'm sorry.
So,
I take it all back then. Most of it.
So it's hard. Recall notice. Very nice, very stark. Nothing too fancy.
Poor deluded Mac people. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, they'll rule the world one day.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I know. Didn't they say that back in 1990?
It's different this time.
Oh, okay. As opposed to all the other times.
Right.
All right.
And this right here is why we've had some weird issues with our text. We had a baseline shift going on that we didn't even realize.
Oh, okay.
And that's why when we were selecting over
Needed to
here...
set that back to 0.
Right.
Yeah.
You need to set that back to 0. Sometimes quirky things can happen when you least expect it. So,
or if you've made some settings in the past and didn't set them all back.
Exactly.
Yeah, it happens.
So let's see what we have in our text for recall notice. I know we have something over here.
I think it's down toward... Yeah, there it
There
is.
it is, towards the end.
Yeah.
Here's a nice little summary. Okay, we'll just copy that. Paste. And you know what? We're going to use our little trick that we learned from before. I'm going to
actually draw it out.
Yeah, I'm going to draw out that text box.
Okay.
So that we have boundaries. Click and drag. And paste.
Ooh.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. And so look what it did. It did it again. There we go. All better. I don't want it to be bold. I want it to be regular.
Okay.
And it's not going to be too terribly fancy, but we do have a problem. The problem is
you can't read it.
You can't read it.
Right.
And it's not because the text is too small. It's because the fire is too bright. So let's go.
Funny thing about fire.
Yeah, it's a funny thing about fire. I'm going to go and select that recall layer again. Use it as a selection.
Mm-hmm.
So just sort of to mask out what I'm about to do.
Sure.
I'm going to do a similar kind of technique that I was using on the photo of the log cabin.
Okay.
Instead of burning the edges.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm, instead of burning the edges, I'm going to burn in the fire, or at least make it darker. And so I have my brush tool selected. I have a giant brush. That's an awful giant brush.
That is a very big brush.
I don't need one that big. How about this big?
Okay.
And I'm going to just get these areas back here. Now that's too much. So I'm going to slide the opacity down.
Yeah, since you put it on a new layer, you can do that.
Right. And that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That's not bad. And so I think once again, we're going to need some direction for the person who is reading the website.
Right.
And I'm going to make another more button.
They're going to need to know that they can click on this to get some more information.
More information. And you know what? I wonder if I can just borrow from our previous work. Was he in a separate?
No,
he wasn't.
The same one.
But I can copy.
You just Control-C it, yeah.
Yep. And let's see if I can paste them into here. What happened? There.
There we go.
He's not quite in the right place yet, but he's close.
He's getting there.
Oh, you see, once again, we're having our issue with fire. So let's...
You can try getting out your paintbrush and painting on that darkening layer again.
Yes, let's do that.
I'm going to name that layer, too.
Yeah, I'm going to call it...
Fire burn.
That's good. Fire burn. This guy here is the background.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll call it fire background.
Okay.
So you know what it is and what it does. And we can leave the recall in here. It doesn't really matter at this point.
Okay.
And I believe that's it.
Go ahead and back out from that.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Is it just me, or is that more in the corner still a little tricky to read?
It is. That's a good point.
Maybe we could bring the opacity back up on the black just a little more.
Yeah. Here, fire burn. I'm going to click and drag.
Tweak it. Yeah, that'll probably work. I mean, it still looks just like fire, so I don't think anybody's going to get confused by that.
I don't think so.
Now it looks like there's black smoke, too, so that's even more apparent.
Right, even more dangerous. One more thing I want to do here.
Okay.
I don't like the spacing in this. I'm just going to tighten up the letters. The graphic designer in me, it compels me to do so. And I'm just going to set it to 0. It was on
internal
50.
Graphic designer.
I'm going to actually make it minus 20. And I'm going to make it minus 30. Okay. I'm going to move it over a little more.
Center it back up.
Center it up and make it actually a little bit larger to help from edge to edge.
Yeah, kind of stress that importance here.
And I'm going to move both of these guys down just a touch. Okay. And move him back up one more. You know what? I'm going to put him on his own layer.
Yeah, I do that a lot with text. Especially when you got to really kind of tweak where it's going to be.
Right. I'm going to put it, I want him to be...
Did you grab 2002 as well?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to do that again. Looks like we have more. Okay.
Okay.
Let's make a new text layer. I'm going to stick it right there.
And there it is, kind of down there in the corner.
And move him back up. I'm going to actually make sure that he's on the same line.
Oh, I see. Yeah, nice.
Just so for some consistency.
Sure.
I don't know if we'll actually get that in the final version, but it's good.
Well, it'd be hard to make out anyways, but,
Yeah.
you know, it's good to have in mind.
Mm-hmm. So, let's take one closer look at that. Yeah, here we are. We're pixel perfect.
Yeah, you double-checked that because you saw that little white
Yeah,
border, didn't you?
you saw that.
Yeah, that's just
That's just a visual
Photoshop's
glitch.
zoom algorithm.
Right, trying to figure out
Yeah.
where all the pixels go and not quite getting it right.
That's all good.
Okay.
Well, I think that wraps up this panel. And is there anything
Yeah.
else we need to do with the homepage?
Yes, there's at least one more thing we need to do. We'll need to make menu bar buttons so that when your mouse rolls over the topics at the top, you will get a different look. Button.
Cool. So little rollovers. Rock on.
Right.
Well, let's take a look at that in the next video.
Okay.
Thanks.